is a Trump supporter, got deported from Mexico back to the U.S., and I want to use this video to show y'all, no matter how hard you try, you will never be white.
If you voted for Donald Trump, I want you out of my life. Because at a base level, I don't care for friends, I don't care for family, because if I'm going into a future where interracial marriage is even up for debate, I don't want you at my wedding. I don't want you there.
Hi you all, welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you clicking on this video. So we have all seen how a lot of Latinos showed up for Trump, right? Well, now some of them are finally being honest about why they voted the way they did. So we are going to be checking out what they are saying in their own words. Then I will come back and share my thoughts. And I would definitely want to hear yours too. So drop a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get into it.
So this Latina, who is a Trump supporter, got deported from Mexico back to the U.S., and I want to use this video to show y'all, no matter how hard you try, you will never be white. And I say that because she made videos going, oh, look, people are making too big of a deal about Trump and the deportations. He's only going after criminals. If you want to be here, you should do it the right way. Then she goes to Mexico, gets stopped by authorities. While she's coming back from a concert, they check her papers and then they deport her. Now, they deported her because she overstayed her visa. I know some people are like, well, you should have done it the right way. Calm down. Let's just give her a little grace here. She's not a criminal. Sure, she has ideologies you don't agree with, but she wasn't committing any crimes. She was down in Mexico partying it up. Now, this is where the "you'll never be white" part comes in. There's over 1 million undocumented white people living in Mexico. They are taking advantage of the system. They're not paying taxes. They're down there just partying it up. And like advocates in Mexico have been saying, that authorities don't go after white people, they actually go after brown people. So you were racially profiled in a country that you were trying to get dual citizenship for. So if you were racially profiled in Mexico, what do you think is going to happen to you in the U.S. when Trump comes into office? Because there are at least 500,000 white people undocumented in the U.S., and they're never bothered. Because I need you to remember that the immigration system was never set up to hurt white people. It was set up to hurt people of color globally. Our movements are constantly restricted, while white people are never bothered when they do the same thing we do. So as much as you say, oh, well, if you want to come to this country, you have to do it the right way. It is not about doing it the right way. It is always, the immigration system has always been about hurting black and brown people, no matter where we are in the world. So please, keep thinking how you're safe now that you're in the U.S., back in your home country. They don't see you as a U.S. citizen either. They want to take away your citizenship. They want to denaturalize people. So please, let's get rid of that colonized mind, because this immigration system was never made for us.
No, because I want you to hear me when I say with my full fucking chest, if you voted for Donald Trump, I want you out of my life. Because at a base level, I don't care for friends, I don't care for family, because if I'm going into a future where interracial marriage is even up for debate, I don't want you at my wedding. I don't want you there. If I travel out of state while on my period and my blood condition causes me to start hemorrhaging, and I happen to be in a state where women's health care is so strictly regulated that doctors feel like they can't interfere because any period-related bleeding could be a pregnancy, and there's no interfering in that, and I bleed out and die because of the laws that are going to be left up to states' decisions, I don't want you at my funeral. If the Department of Education is defunded and my children can't go to school unless it's at a private institution that we cannot afford, and there's no way to get any assistance in affording this, I don't want you in my kids' lives. And that's just the beginning of it. So honestly, truly, if you voted for Trump, get out of my life.
It's been a little over 100 days since this administration took office. Until this day, I still get asked, how? How did Latinos, how did your community vote for him? And honestly, it is multi-layered and multifaceted. Let me tell you that I'm also not one of the people that voted for him. And I say it's multi-layered, multifaceted because I think there's multiple reasons. Sure, there's a concern around misinformation and disinformation having taken advantage of our community or having people confused. I think that's one part of it. Another part of it is, frankly, racism. colorism that exists within our community. So many of us are raised and brought up to believe that darkness is a bad thing. That if you're more claro, if you're more lighter, that you will have it better or that you are better. Like many of us are socialized, whether or not even our families are aware of it, but are socialized to believe things like that. To want to be closer to whiteness, to be bought into proximity to whiteness. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that, they don't want to admit it, whatever, that is their own thing. But I am naming the things that are prevalent in our freaking community. Anti-blackness is a major thing that exists in our community. Okay? All of this stuff contributed. But I will also say the lack of empathy for immigrants. The fact that people feel like because they're second generation or third generation that they are better because they didn't have to immigrate here. This country was stolen from indigenous people, from white people that immigrated here. Again, something that people don't seem to want to talk about or acknowledge, but it is the reality. So for people to feel like, oh, well, they're only going to take the criminal. No, you see what's happening right now. You see what's happening right now. And Latinos, so many Latinos that are now being like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was going to happen. Oh, I regret my decision. Oh. Well, look at you now. Look at us now. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. If you want more of this type of content, follow for more. Comment if you understand. Comment if you understand.
I've been joking around about Latinos for Trump over the past few days. It's been all fun and games, but a few of you have actually asked me to explain why Latinos would vote for Trump. And that's a really good question, and there's actually a lot of reasons, so it's time to get real about Latinos for Trump. But let's begin with the conversation of class. Wealthy people tend to lean more Republican because Republicans advocate for lower taxes for the rich. So wealthier Latinos lean more towards Donald Trump. The second reason would be internalized racism and internalized xenophobia, or otherwise known as the pick-me people. The people that say, my family came here the right way, it's not that hard, why can't people just follow the laws? We're not like them, we're different. Those are the people that want to be accepted by white Americans so bad that they will openly bash their community. There's a lot of those people, and those people also tend to lean towards Donald Trump. The third and the biggest reason why I believe there's a lot of Latinos that support Trump is because our community is incredibly conservative. The Catholic and Christian church have a lot of power within our community. Conservative views when it comes to women's health and the LGBTQIA tend to dominate our community. When you put all those things together, it's not that hard to understand why so many Latinos support Trump.
And I find it so weird to see some of the same people who openly and loudly supported and voted for that man now sharing ICE sightings to warn immigrants, sad ICE raid videos, and immigration resources and information. Like, didn't you vote for this? Is this not what you wanted? Or are you now finally regretting that support and that vote because you realize that we weren't lying when we said that this man and his administration would be coming after not just criminals, but also moms, dads, grandmas, and grandpas, and more without criminal records? Like, you look dumb doing this now. It looks very, very performative, and it seems like you didn't do any research before November 5th, 2024.
Cuban American woman from Miami here. Actually, I'm from Hialeah. That's real deep. If you know, you know. I'm from Hialeah. I'm originally a Hialeah girl. I am from South Florida. I grew up in a Cuban community. My mom's Cuban. I'm ashamed, and I just want to tell the world I'm sorry. Not all of us Cubans are like that. Some of us do have empathy. Some of us do feel solidarity with the rest of the Latino community that's going through it. Some of us knew this was going to happen and tried to warn our friends and family. I have to explain to you why it's so different in South Florida. The Cubans there live in this bubble where they're the majority, and they think that they're white, and they live in a certain bubble of privilege where they don't see discrimination directed towards them because they're the majority. But I promise you, to those Cubans that haven't really left South Florida, just drive a couple hours north and you're going to realize you're not white. You're not white. You're never going to be white enough for them. So I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of your votes. I'm ashamed of those stupid fucking videos I see you posting. You're embarrassing yourselves. Because, I see those three Doritos later videos, and I can't help but fucking laugh. Sometimes I feel bad. I feel bad because the person getting deported didn't vote for shit. But I have family members that are getting deported. all of us are pieces of shit. Thanks.
It's like they were hoping to get that white passing card handed over to them. But that card was never coming, and it will never come. Now the reality is eating hard. They have realized that no red hat or slogan was ever going to change that. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section, and thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
All right, so in this video we are looking at the Latino community. They're explaining themselves why they voted the way they did. One of the reasons is they have internalized growing up, that issue of being anti-blackness. Majority of them, anything to do with blackness, they will not want to be associated with it, and they always want to associate themselves with whiteness, because the closer you are to whiteness, then even them, they'll be known as white. So they always want to get that white card, privilege. But unfortunately, you're a Latino, so there's no way they're going to be accepted by the white community, whether they like it or not. But that is the reality. And as you can see, the results right now, they are deporting people, and majority are from the Latino community. Then there's this other issue. The Latino community, they have literally growing up knowing that, they come from Catholic, majority Christian, and they have strong views, which are very conservative. And we all know Republican Party, they have conservative views point. So they are literally aligning to what the Latino community believe in, and that's another reason why they voted the way they did. Then also there's this internalized hate of, they have machism. Remember, Kamala Harris is a woman, and while the Republican, they had a male. So most of them, they want to be associated with a male to be the figurehead of the country and not a woman, because for the longest time, Latino communities, they believe in patriarchal society, and they believe male as the leaders, as the figurehead of the family, as a community. And they, as a country, of course, they will always align themselves to seeing a man leading a country. That was one of the reasons why they voted the way they did. And right now they are literally crying. And of course there's this thing of feeling like you're better, pick me group. You feel like you're better than the rest because you're like, oh, second generation, third generation. You're like, oh, my family came to America the right way, and that's why we have no problem with our papers. So why can't you do the right way? Even you, why don't you move to America the right way, so you will not have any problem like that? So most Latinos think like that, and they think they have that privilege, and they look down on others. So they're like, oh no, I'm gonna vote the way I did because my family is okay, they have no issue with the papers, I came with the right way. And unfortunately right now is affecting everybody. So you're seeing videos where they're complaining, they're like, oh, I wish I changed my vote, I wish I never voted the way they did, I wish. And unfortunately karma is a bitch. This is when they say FAFO season is continuing, and when you make decisions, you need to be ready for the consequences, and these are the consequences. So they're learning the hard way, which is painful to see, but at the end of the day, you need to understand that sometimes you need to learn the hard way so that you avoid repeating the same mistake over and over again. So for the Latino community, I hope during this period they internalize themselves, they ask themselves these difficult questions, why they voted the way they did, and then do their own research and come up with ways of avoiding a recurrence of such a situation. So for them to do better, they need to do research right now. They need to know who they're going to vote for the next election. They need to know what policies are they supporting and all this stuff. So right now karma is a bitch, FAFO season is around. And yes, people, the black community literally told them, they were shouting like, hey guys, don't vote the way you are doing, because at the end of the day your community is going to be affected. It's not us black Americans who are going to be affected, because black Americans belong in America. They are part and parcel of America. They're going nowhere. And for the Latino community, you are the guys who came to America, and you will be deported back to your original homeland. And that's what we are seeing right now ICE is doing, because they're detaining people, they're looking at your papers, your status. If they find there's any issue whatsoever, you're going to be detained and you're going to be deported immediately out of America. All right, let me know what you think about this video. Do you agree with what Latinos are saying, and what are your viewpoint? Let me know, and please subscribe to my channel.